I wanted, obviously I wanted us to be settled in the country, to have our rights to live, to work. Secondly, I was hopeful for love. And thirdly, I just wanted money, because we'd been in such a minus for so long in terms of not having money. We couldn't work. We just had to make do and do whatever we could. They looked at me and said to me, how can I pray for you? And I was like, I looked at them and I started crying. I started crying and I was like, I just want my family to stay in the country. Like they even knew what that was. I don't know, but he prayed, or she prayed a prayer that I don't remember what it was, but I just knew that I felt some kind of confirmation. Plus I think in my mind it was already confirmed. I just wanted God to keep confirming it. But so they prayed, and that was one of my escapades. So I left there, but in that time I was also doing so many things. I was fasting. My church at the time had a fasting period, something, they would 50 days of wonders or something like that. But anyway, I burnt myself out. I did. I wasn't eating at the time as well, and you have to imagine a girl like me that's a foodie. Like I know food in a way that a lot of people don't. And I love food in a way that a lot of people don't. I love food. I love good food, and I live with a feeder as well. So in this period, I was around food, the same food, but I wasn't hungry. I was always just full. I didn't think of food. I didn't even think about it. So I wasn't hungry, yet I was staying up at odd hours, going everywhere and anywhere that I had never been in my whole existence in London. Just going, just doing wild things. And so my body was screaming like stop, but I just kept going, because I was like no, I just felt like this is it. And God probably told me at some point, you know what, just sleep. And actually one of the days, so the leadership conference was for 2 days, and I went on the first day. I couldn't go on the second day because somehow, somewhere, I lost my oyster. And now looking back, I think that was God actually trying to force me to just stop. But I kept going. And then one Sunday morning I woke up. It was the 11th of May 2015. I woke up and I was getting ready to go to church. I remember, I think I was doing my makeup, and I could feel energy going out of me, and I just started crying. I started crying so much. It wasn't even crying, it must have been wailing. I was crying so much, and I think obviously people were in the house, my family were at home, and I can't remember the exact event of that day, because of course I was exhausted. And so I remember coming downstairs. I remember coming downstairs in the house, and I'm not sure if we have a family friend that's a psychiatrist, and I'm not sure if she was there on that day or if my parents had to call her on that day. I remember her daughter was there. I can't remember, but either way, she was there on that day. She became present on that day, and both her and my mum, or her and my parents, took me to the hospital. And I guess because she's obviously in the system, she's a doctor, she was able to, thankfully, because of her, I wasn't admitted, because I think she had to vouch for my family to be able to look after me, like that they were able to look after me. And so because she obviously didn't want me to be admitted, and I don't think my family wanted that either, she was able to, through her, I was able to not get admitted. And and truth be told, my family, they did come through, like everybody, hands on, head down. Doyin's not feeling well. is a problem, you know. So they did come through and they did it so well, so well. Like, I wouldn't go into the details of that now, but essentially I was out of it. I was unconscious-ish for 2 weeks. Unconscious not because I was sleeping and not awake. I was awake, but I can't tell you what happened in those 2 weeks. My phone was taken away from me. I even had a bridal hair client. Oh, I don't think I mentioned this before, but in that time of us not being able to work, I started doing hair, because hair is something I love doing and I do so well. And I started doing hair, so I was a hairdresser. I got qualified in it as well. And so I had a bridal hair client. We'd consulted before. We'd consulted and I was so happy. I was like, we were both so happy to see this through. Till today, I don't know what happened. I didn't do her hair for a wedding. Like, if you're watching, I'm sorry, but I don't know what happened because my phone was taken away from me. I'm gonna guess that my family contacted her some way. I don't know what happened, but that's just to show you that I was awake, but I was dead, essentially, in my mind, in a way. Like, yeah, I wasn't here. I remember on the 23rd of May, so my birthday's the 24th. On the 23rd of May, I woke up in the morning and my mum was, in that period, I wasn't sleeping alone either. Like, these people were not letting me, they just wouldn't let me. They wanted to be around me, my family, and so my mum would sleep with me on the same bed. And so on the 23rd of May, she woke me up and she said, oh, Doyin, I'm so excited, it's your birthday tomorrow. And I looked at her and I was like, you're lying to me. And I don't know how she must have felt, because I mean, as a mother, you're there praying. They've done it all. I'm dosed up. They're thinking I'm getting better, and then I say such words. She must have been like, just kill me now, God, like, take me. Anyway, she was like, no, it's your birthday tomorrow. I was like, no, how can it be my birthday tomorrow when yesterday was only the 11th of May, because that's the last day I remember very well. And so anyways, I let it go. I didn't really know what was going on. And then 24th of May, I remember my aunt and her family and my sister, they all just came round on my birthday. But I didn't think it was my birthday. I just thought it was, a part of me thought, okay, they may be right, because obviously I knew something happened. A part of me thought they may be right, but there was a part of me that just thought, oh, these people are just doing that to make me feel good, because that's what my family do. Like, we're so closely knitted that they will do that. So I thought, yeah, they're just doing that to make me feel good. And either way, I went with the flow. We went to Southend, you know, I got a cake, and really lovely cake. It was very, very nice and intimate. And I did feel good, but I was present, but my mind was also I was trying to patch things up, like, what's happened to me, because I didn't know what happened to me. Anyway, so that happened, and so yeah, this was my road to recovery, right? And so I was dosed up. I was on the highest doses of like antipsychotic, antidepressant medications, and I'm not one to take medication. I don't. Personally, growing up, I've always felt like they made me worse. Don't know where that came from, but every time I had it back then, like when, like with headaches in Nigeria and I had paracetamol, I just felt worse. And I remember my dad, he loves medication, and so he would say to me, oh, take the paracetamol, and I'd take it, I'll break it off and I'll throw it away. You know, so medication was just nothing I went to. Like, growing up, when I was able to make my own choices, it's not something I'll take. And so now, going from that to being heavily dosed, it was odd to me. I remember going to the doctors, and all I kept saying was, when they would ask me, how are you feeling? And I'll be like, oh, this medication is making me gain weight. Yeah, it's just one of the things. And so yeah, those are interesting times. In the grand scheme of things, I was worried about my weight. But anyways, that was that. And now that I was awake and knew what was happening, I just wanted to get back doing things and just forget what's happened and just keep moving. But I guess healing it's not linear. It doesn't work that way. And so in September, I think it was September, it was one Sunday, we just decided, my sister and I, she was like, oh, why don't we go to, try just going to a different church, like a different environment. And I said, yeah. And then I actually, in that moment, I was like, oh, how about that place that I went to get prayer? And so I went there, and then on that Sunday was like, it was going to be the start of this course that they run called the Alpha course. And so we signed up for Alpha. We did Alpha. Alpha was good because at this point, I didn't even know how to communicate anymore. I didn't know how to think. I didn't know how to write. I felt like I couldn't do anything. Like I felt like a baby trying to learn the things, all the elements, all the life things again. I would write and I'm thinking, what are you writing? Like things didn't sound right. I couldn't communicate. Even I'll speak and I was just like, my thoughts were just scattered really. And I guess obviously I'm still in the state. I was still coming out of it. But so Alpha is structured in a way where you do talk to people. Like you speak, you talk to people. It's a discussion. You're discussing the Christian faith. You're exploring the Christian faith. I didn't do much of the talking. I would help. I didn't do too much of the talking like I would usually in my normal self, but I did do a lot of listening, and it was good for me. It was good. It was a fresh perspective. It was me growing in my faith. It was good for me. And so that happened. 2015 came to an end, and guess what? We still didn't have our residency. And at this point I know that, okay, well, I trust that God will do it whenever, but I was still hopeful, of course, because it was a hindrance, man. It was needed to do so many things. But anyways, 2016 came about, and in 2016 I would then be, I personally, like only me out of my family, I would qualify to apply for something finally. But I mean, that's not really what I wanted. I wanted everybody to get their residency. But anyway, so I applied obviously because one is better than none, right? So I applied, and actually, April came, and I got it. I got my residency permit. It was like a right to leave, right to remain in the country at least. And so now with that I could work and everything. I could go get a job, because at this point as well, I think there was a dip in my business, of course, because I couldn't even do hair I was out of doing hair for a while. And even when I got back to it, if you were one of my returning clients in like July 2015, I'm sorry, because hey, I think hair is probably the one thing I could still do and do properly. I would say everything else was just a bit shambolic in my opinion. But yeah, so I went on 2016. I got my right to remain, and it was good times. I was so happy. And then instantly, oh gosh, I didn't waste time. I just went applying for jobs. Don't ask me how I did it. Don't ask me what experience I put. But I got a job. I got a job, and yeah, I had to, like, it was needed in the family. It wasn't it's not what God was speaking to me about in that time in my secret place with him. It wasn't what he was saying to me, but I had to, there was need for money. So I went and got a job, and with that, of course, new people. I made new friends. I met new people, my colleagues. I had some amazing colleagues along the way. I met people, and from that job I moved on to another job, and so I'd met now a good mix of people. So it wasn't just the people in my community, my immediate community anymore. It was wide range of people, and I just connect so well with women generally because I don't know, I've just always been around women. And so yeah, I'll speak to women, and I think I was in the place of listening. Yeah, I still spoke because I'm a talker, but I was listening to things, and I was listening not because I chose to listen, but it was my mind would just go to certain things. And I think what it was I'd gone through this fire, would you say? I'd gone through mud, come out of it well, not very well at this point, but well enough to even get a job, to even be able to communicate with people, to be able to relate with people. And so for me at that point, nothing meant much to me. I don't mean to sound bad, but somebody could die, and like nothing, I didn't hold anything dearly because I'd experienced, for me, the worst thing. And so anything, you could say anything to me, like I wouldn't hold it dearly. Like you can call me, say anything, just say anything, and I'll be like, okay, well, if only you know where I've been. Like, yeah, that wouldn't even, it hit here and it just bounced right off, basically. And so when these women will talk about, when we'll speak about, obviously when you speak to women, we speak about issues, we speak about guys, we speak about all sorts. When they would speak about it, I'm like, I always felt the need to just shake them, like, no, like, it's not that way. You just have to see it from a different, I always like, no, like, you know, just see it from a different way. Like you can get out of that messy situation. You don't have to be there. Like, who does he think he is, kind of thing. I had that vibe, and I just had this vibe of, trust me, like if you want to do it, you can do it. Like, I was just on the roll. Like I was just like, yeah. And I know it probably did come across a bit much for people, and yeah, it probably did, which I guess it was just my experience of it's just how I felt internally. At this point, I could do anything, really. Nothing was off limits because the worst had happened, you know, so what else could happen that could go wrong? And now, even better, I had my right to move around in the country, so I could now go on holiday if I wanted to, you know. So life was rosy. I was like on cloud, whatever. And so I'll speak to these people, not looking down on them, but just like wanting to, like, come out, you know, this doesn't have to be that way, trust me. It's all in, I kept saying, it's all in the mind, like it's all in the mind. And I guess obviously it's because of what I went through. But so yeah, that would happen, and just went around. There was a lot of observation to be done, because again, at this point, not like I didn't have that many friends around, is the truth. I didn't keep that many friends around because I felt othered. I felt out of space. I felt out of place in this world, you know, because I just thought, does this even happen to people? And we didn't speak about what happened in my family till today. We still haven't spoken about it like in that way. And I think this would be a good opportunity to probably speak about it, but we didn't speak about it in my family. And so everything I had to process, I went through it with God and myself. I will still go to God. I will still ask him, like, well, this is not what we spoke about, so how comes I'm here now? Like, I was really speaking to God, like, I'm not happy, I'm a bit disappointed. I thought on the 24th of May 2015 I would have had this and that and that and that, and the reverse has happened. I was really like, God, I'm not leaving you. I want this, I still want it. But either way, in that period up until now, I guess, I carried on doing hair. I took on some clients. Even whilst I was working, I carried on with my hairdressing business. And I would say my clients didn't know this. Unknown to them, they were my therapists, because our sessions were always so full. Nothing was off limits. We spoke about everything and anything, and I would trigger some of them. I would say, because I have a lot that comes from here, and I would just be like, oh, but what do you think about this? And my opinion was always, yeah, just different. Anyway, nothing was off limits with my clients, and so that was good for me. It was good. It was therapy for me. It was a therapy that I didn't formally go to, but I had. And obviously I would still speak to God, but in my relationship, like, my relationship with God was not the same. It wasn't that place I didn't feel that joy, I didn't feel that happiness, that joy, that I just didn't feel it anymore. But yeah, I say all of that obviously to get to a point, because this is not about me, this is about
love at the dawn,
bigger picture.
love in the sunrise, high over all, love in the first breath, love at the last.